I love how you've romanticized aspects of Black girlhood. Some like your braiding videos specifically, like just showing like the slow motion, like laying out of the hair. I had never seen content like that of a braid day, you know, like with the classical music in the background and like you're having your tea. Like, was that a conscious decision you made? Like, I want to show what it's like as a Black woman to have a hair day for us in a way that's romanticized and also part of the soft life.
Wow.
All right. Welcome back to Naked Beauty. I'm Brooke DeVard.
And I'm Sir John.
This is such an incredible episode. We are sitting with Jackie Aina.
Yes.
OG.
OG, influencer, literally pioneer, guys. I
just have to give a bio so people really understand just her influence in the industry. Jackie Aina is a Nigerian-American beauty YouTuber and entrepreneur. After being told that certain makeup trends she wanted to try just weren't right for her complexion, Jackie became determined to create videos about the products and looks she loved that could work for anyone. Mm-hmm. Since starting her YouTube channel in 2009, Jackie's audience has grown to 3.5 million subscribers on YouTube, 2 million followers on Instagram, and 3 million followers on TikTok. She uses that audience to further her goal of advocating for the visibility of people of color in the cosmetic industry, something she's done since the very beginning of her 15-plus year career.
Wow.
In July 2020, Jackie co-founded her business Forever Mood, launching with a line of candles, and recently the brand debuted its Fine fragrance line, which launched in Sephora nationwide and sold out within hours. Wow. We talked to her about that. Jackie's also ventured into the entertainment industry as an executive producer and star of The Black Beauty Effect.
Yes.
A documentary on Netflix, which you and I are both featured in.
Absolutely, guys. Check it out.
Yes, which we did before we knew each other, which is so funny.
We had a lot of those kind of things. Yes. We were circling around each other.
Sliding doors. For her advocacy efforts, Aina was deemed the NAACP's first ever YouTuber of the Year at the 49th NAACP Image Awards. She's also earned the titles of Adweek Creator Visionary Award, Glamour's Woman of the Year, Refinery 29's Beauty Innovator of the Year, and Women's Wear Daily's Beauty Inc. Influencer of the Year.
Wow. And last Fashion Week, I presented her with the Influencer Award for Black Beauty Roster, which means so much to the culture. So, I mean, listen, Jackie is taking in a lot of accolades, but she deserves them. You know?
She deserves every accolade, and she just means so much to Black beauty culture in general.
Yes.
And she has taught me as a Black woman navigating how to do my makeup. She has taught me so much. I would prop up my laptop and just follow her step by step and have her a decade.
Yes.
So to sit with her here and have this conversation was everything. You all are in for such a treat.
A treat. When I say a treat, guys, we're talking about free gems. This should have been a pay-per-view show, but you're going to learn a lot, see a lot, and she unpacks even more.
Let's get into it. Okay. Jackie Aina, welcome to Naked Beauty. We are, how excited have we been for this?
So excited. What's up, baby?
I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
There's so much we want to talk to you about, but we want to start at the very, very, very beginning.
Oh, Lord.
So talk to us about growing up here in Los Angeles, what that was like. And I also want to know if you felt beautiful growing up.
I really thought carefully about that question because I saw it when you guys first asked me for this opportunity. That idea of did I feel beautiful? Mm-hmm. You know what I think I experienced being self-aware when I was a kid. Mm. It's not that I didn't think I was beautiful, but there was a time where I had to blossom.
Yes.
And I'm really grateful that in my household, there wasn't shame and humiliation around the way you look. And I know a lot of people don't have that experience.
Right.
They grow up hearing insults from their parents or their siblings or being called ugly or whatever, or being made fun of for being dark. I didn't experience that growing up, but there was a time where it was okay, girl, you're not quite there yet. It may take you some time to, grow into them teeth, grow into them features. And it was just 1 year, everything was just too big for my face. And the rest of my face needed to catch up to my features. And then when I felt pretty, I was okay, I'm pretty now. I'm being told I'm pretty now. Okay. And I was very aware of that.
Yes.
But one thing that I'm really, I guess, kind of grateful for is that I didn't sulk in it. While I was in that ugly duckling phase, I wasn't miserable. It was just it is what it is. There's more to me than just looking physically pretty. And right now I'm kind of not, but it's okay. I'm still a good person. I'm still funny.
Yes.
But yeah, I think I felt like there's more to me than how I look, but I was obviously well aware of like my complexion and like how my lighter skinned friends that I grew up with were treated versus like mixed friends were treated. Like that was very.
You felt they were treated better?
Oh, they made it so obvious. It was almost like bragging rights.
Wow.
Them, you know what I mean? And it would be like, it would come up completely unprovoked sometimes. Like, and there was a time when I was in elementary school where I had like a friend group, and the area of LA that I grew up in, most times you knew every Black person. Half of them were my relatives. So it was like you were either related to them or you knew the 2 or 3.
Right.
And the other girls were like mixed, and they would make it a point to like hang out without me. And it was so weird because I didn't know what it was other than like the way that they looked versus the way that I looked.
Right.
Because they were like lighter skin or they were mixed. And yeah, it was weird, but I never like internalized it. You know, like I never like took that in. You know, kids do weird stuff. So
I know.
That's learned behavior too.
True.
That's true.
You know?
That's definitely facts.
Listen.
Yeah.
Did you feel like boys at school treated you differently?
Probably. Yeah. Probably because like being the only Black girl.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to like approach the only Black girl at the school. Like not romantically. No. No, that was not.
I always think of LA as like such a diverse place, but it sounds like the school that you were in and the environment you were in, it wasn't that.
No, because like LA is big. So you have like the predominantly Asian areas, and then you have like the predominantly Latin areas, and you have like where all the Black people are.
Right.
And I grew up with like people from Mexico and El Salvador. So, and you know, other people of color groups, they have their own colorism and stuff to work through. So in addition to like most times being the only Black person there, it was like they was not checking for me like that. But you could still be a minority within a minority group. So I definitely experienced that. Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
So you graduate, you go to the Army.
Yeah. I went to college.
Graduate college.
And then I went to the Army.
Then you went to the Army.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start YouTube.
Yeah, I had a lot going on when I started my YouTube channel, like personally,
come on now,
professionally. But that was a time where like you really came online to like make friends with people.
Yes.
It was like
2009, right?
2009. Wow. Yeah. It was like you came online to build community and make pen pals.
Really?
But like in beauty. So you had your own niche, whether it was gaming, whether it was makeup.
Right.
Yeah.
This was your little pumpkin pie era.
Oh God. My little pumpkin pie 05 era. Oh God. Yeah, it was.
What was it like? I mean, those early days of being a beauty YouTuber is so different from what we see now. How do you think it's changed?
It's changed, and I don't know. I don't think it's people's fault. I don't think it's just people's fault. But, you know, a lot of platforms really prioritize people who can like push product. You know, we were just talking about the whole TikTok shop phenomenon where it's like, whoa, I just got on here. You're already selling me a new house, girl. Like I just logged on. And they don't, I feel like a lot of these platforms where they go wrong, they don't prioritize community building the way that they used to. But to be fair, you know, I'm just using TikTok as one example. TikTok is also a short form platform. So it's a bit catchier.
Right.
You don't get as much face time.
Abbreviated.
It feels, it feels more abbreviated.
Right.
Whereas YouTube, it's like the more you talk, because YouTube is where I started.
Yes.
The more you talk, the more people really see your personality shine.
Right.
They really get to know you. And I feel like there's less to be interpreted. Because if I say something in a 30-second short form piece of content, chances are I'm probably going to be summarizing. I'm going to be removing a lot of context.
Right.
Disclaimers aren't going to get made.
Right.
You know, all of that. Whereas on YouTube, I could say something that could be inflammatory if I remove the context.
Right.
But I built up the story. I explained more. I explained my position. You know what I mean? Like, you don't really get that no more. Like it's
trust
different.
too.
Yeah.
It's trust.
And then you get to build more trust. So like I miss that. But it's not like the creator's fault. It's these platforms are just
changing.
You're hungry, child.
So do you feel like Longform has less of a feet in the ground or 10 toes in where we are than like a TikTok? So
no, I don't. I just feel like in beauty, like with what we do,
right.
This type of content, I feel has kind of shifted in popularity on YouTube, for example. So like people used to go to beauties strictly to YouTube for beauty specifically. And now it's kind of being led by like other platforms like TikTok. But I still think as far as like how to service, and Sir John, I'm even curious to know your opinion on this as a makeup artist. I actually feel like you're a better consumer when you're watching beauty content on TikTok, on YouTube.
Because it's long form.
Because
you're learning.
It's long form, you're learning more. And I think artistry is better displayed on YouTube.
The thing is, I feel like you at least have the ability to fast forward. I have the ability to keep it moving. I even like to watch, because I cook a lot. So I always like to watch, chefs on the platform. And so I want to, at some point, slow it down as someone who doesn't understand that angle or how to make sure that transition looks like that in an eye or whatever. So I don't have the ability to even lean in the way I want to. And so I love longer form content. I want to laugh. I want to see their personality. I want to hear them tell a joke.
The storytelling. Storytelling.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah. I mean, you could have been doing you chose makeup, but like you could have been talking about anything and we would have watched and subscribed, like the star power.
Kiki.
Kiki, like, girl, what did you do last weekend? Who did you do it with? Did you come back home? And who did you come home with? Like, you get it all laid out on YouTube.
And it's therapeutic in a way. I feel like YouTube is therapeutic in a way. Even watching you, I remember watching you and it's like, wait a minute. You know what? She's saying something while she's cooking. Let her cook. And while she's cooking this brow right now, she's speaking to my spirit about the friends that I was at with Saturday night. Or you start to tell this life story that we all relate to. And then beauty just happens to be the room.
Exactly.
I think because I learned not only as an artist, but as a creative or as a creator, I should say, that because these are such like deeply intimate parts of our day-to-day is getting your hair done, doing your makeup. To me, that's when I realized like, okay, there's like stuff that I want to talk about that may not be beauty and makeup related.
Right.
But like, how can I reel someone in? Like, how can I make the environment safe enough for them to like listen? Because the way that I look, and I learned this very early on YouTube, because the way that I look, if I talk about things like racism and colorism, they're automatically sizing me up and are going to put a hand up and a wall up and be like, no, you're abrasive. No, you're aggressive. All of these things that like society tells you you're supposed to view me as. But I started to realize.
Because Black women, that specifically.
Dark-skinned Black women, especially. Because I clocked very quickly. I could say something with 50 million disclaimers. So pleasant, so nice, so sticky sweet.
Sticky sweet.
But like a lighter companion could be way harsher in the delivery. And they'd be like, oh, like they didn't mean it like that. And I'm like, we just said the same thing. And I actually said it nicer. So why am I getting more smoke for that? It's weird. And it would be things that are like, honestly, not even controversial. Like if I said, hey, I don't think this brand had enough dark shades.
Which are facts.
And
which is a fact.
Yes. And you consistently did that. I feel like before it was popular.
Before it was popular.
To do so. Yes.
And honestly, it wasn't even just me. Like it was other people who may not have had the spotlight that I had. But it was like, I'm literally just stating what I see. But people would be like, I would be like, oh my God, I don't really think these concealers are going to work for me. They don't have a ton of shades. Well, not everything's about you. The world doesn't always revolve around Black women. I'm like, we're talking about concealers. Like
and this is my platform. You came on my came into my living room.
This is a Wendy's. Like, calm down. Like you're doing way too much. But it was like, it would just rile these people up like for no reason. So I had to kind of learn if I really want to like talk to people. Yes, there's a time and a place to really just kind of give it and not back down. And I'm going to do that regardless. Right. But I have a way where I could like kind of like reel you in and get you to like listen. Cause I'm like, at the end of the day, you may not know you need this message, but you need it. And we're going to, set it up really nicely.
I picked that up off of you. that way of, and can I tell you, that's a skill. And that doesn't matter if you are in an executive boardroom, if you're just starting out in your career, if you own a cupcake shop. Like, that is such a talent and a skill, and it's such a nuanced way of living that Black women specifically, and then us, people who are Black and BIPOC have to understand, and how to not assimilate, but how to make your ideas translate.
Yes.
So you can advocate for yourself in a way that's seemingly digestible and palatable for whiteness at the end of the day, for fragility. But when you do it in such a cool way fragility. That it's like, oh wow, I don't even know I'm necessarily getting told some shit right now.
Yeah. Right. You get tired of just being ignored and overlooked. And then you start being like, okay, all right, I got something for you. Like, we're going to regroup. We're going to, don't get mad, get smarter. Like, get, work around. And you can still say things that are just as hard hitting and just as effective, especially as a woman. I'm glad you even mentioned the owner of a cupcake shop, because that's something that you also have to do as a brand founder. Yes. Oh my God.
Yes.
The amount of times me and my co-founder, Dennis, we walk into a room.
Shout out to Dennis. What's up,
shout out to Dennis.
Right. You say something, it's taken one way. He says the exact same thing, it's taken another way.
Or just I ignored. Like, literally, people will act like I'm not there.
Wow.
And it's
I've seen that.
Hilarious to me. I'm like, oh, wow. So no one. Okay. Interesting.
That's crazy.
Yes.
You've always stood up for other Black women your whole career, really. Was it isolating, especially in those early, like 2020, we had this whole, and now it's completely going away, but we had this whole thing about, spotlighting Black women in beauty. But before then, I mean, you were the biggest YouTuber even before then. Was it isolating? Did you feel like you had people that could advocate for you?
I think my community did.
Mm-hmm.
And I had like a really unique experience in that it never felt like these are people who were just like blindly defending me because they follow me. You know what I mean? Like, I genuinely felt like when my community spoke up about the things that I was talking about, or when they saw me getting dragged or whatever, I feel like it was because we were all speaking from a shared experience. And it wasn't just this like parasocial, but we love, it was never weird. It was like people really were like, no, what you're not going to do to her is what y'all have been doing to Black women forever. And Black people, quite frankly, forever.
Not on my
and
watch.
So that I feel really grateful for. And that never felt isolating, but it kind of like turned, when it came to like my non-Black peers, it in a way it turned into this like, oh, I don't know how you deal with getting dragged every 5 days. And I'm like, so you see me like experiencing this stuff and you don't say anything. Like, I'm confused.
Wow.
Like,
right.
So
Speak up.
it would exactly speak up. Like, it would be really annoying sometimes when people saw me experience things and they see me getting like trashed for saying something that as a creator, I rightfully have the right to say.
Right.
And I feel like, we talk a lot about the creator economy, how it's not fair for everyone. Like the pay gap and stuff like that, how Black creators are paid less, oftentimes to do more, if not the same exact thing as our non-Black counterparts. And I feel like, everybody
even at your level, do you find that that's true?
I don't have that problem.
Yeah,
but
any longer. Anymore.
No. I don't have that problem anymore, but it shouldn't just be
about you,
about the token girl.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes,
like, it should be across the board, even and fair for people.
Right.
And that's why I still talk about these things, because I don't have to personally experience them anymore to still be like, no, paying people fairly. Like, you're literally trying this person. You're asking them for something they have no business doing for free 99. Like, it's not okay. And I think that like creators have, especially the ones that are not Black and see this happening, I do think, why is there no like unspoken, I'm not taking this deal if you're offering her that? Makeup artists do it, hairstylists do it. Like, if you know, like models do it. Like, if you know your peers are being lowballed and you're on the benefiting end of that, you should be saying something.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Period.
Sure.
That's so
like,
true.
it's just not good enough to just be like, not my problem, not my, that has nothing to do with me. I think you should at least try. And you know what? if you tried and it failed, at least you tried.
Mm-hmm.
But to like turn a blind eye and not say nothing is kind of,
I know.
I don't know. It's not really cool.
Do you feel like I feel like brands really made a push for diversity, and then now, I don't know, 2024, it just feels like they don't care anymore.
It's gotten worse.
It's gotten worse, right?
I feel like it's gone backwards.
It's going
Do you guys
backwards.
feel like that?
I see some brand trips and I'm like, you don't have a single brown girl on this brand trip out of all 12 people you invited? It's shocking.
That's what Black people do. Like we just keep going.
We don't have no option.
We don't want to. We don't have the option.
Yeah.
You know, I can't just sulk and like I can't afford that. That's like literally a privilege to just be chilling. Like
speaking of
sulking.
chilling,
yeah,
babe. Okay, so you've been doing this has been about 15 years.
Yeah, this is my 15th year.
15 years. Come on, kid. Shout out to the doll. 15 years. All right. So how do you? Because I personally, as a creative, as an artist, get sometimes burnt out. Like I have severe burnout, and burnout can either be from clients or like trying to show up for people and in ways that I just don't necessarily know if I have the bandwidth for, right? And so you have to show up for the people. And if you really think about it, it's kind of democratic. It's kind of like running for office, with your audience, because you have people who are campaigning for you nonstop, right? Yeah. And you have to look at your constituents, if you will, as family. So do you ever get burnt out? And what does that look like from a creative? Like, how do you keep it moving?
I've 1,000. Well, first, actually, I just want to say, if you have ever experienced that, and I'm going to trust you have because you said it.
Yes.
You handle it very well, because I would have never, ever clocked it or guessed it.
Okay.
Because you've never like outwardly shown it.
I hide. You won't see me.
maybe that's a good thing.
I'll go the fuck away.
Ghost. Yeah, maybe that's a good thing. I think a lot of Black people just need to hide sometimes, just to, be, to recenter yourself. But yeah, I experienced it bad in like, it was like 2021.
Okay.
I didn't know it was burnout. I did not know burnout was like a real thing.
What did it feel like?
Yeah. How did it manifest for you?
I really thought when creators say that they experience burnout, I thought they were just like BSing. Like I'm like, girl, how are you burnt out of turning on your camera? That made no sense. It made no sense to me. And then that's what life will do to you, humble you. And then 2020 happened, and it was just like the world was on fire. And you know what it felt like? It felt like, why in the hell am I talking about this foundation right now? Like I literally felt it felt a little inappropriate. Wow. And then it was this weird like, but the community's still asking, how do I service them? But at the same time, I don't feel like this is the most appropriate way to serve my audience. It was really conflicting. It was really weird. It was a weird time. And then because what you said, the diplomacy of it all, I felt like there was a time where like it just kind of all came to a head. Okay. And people were, it was not even just like, I don't even think these were people within my community or people that followed me. But I started to feel like because of what was happening in 2020, there was this like, get on camera and talk about these issues, talk about this stuff and perform. That's what it felt like. Yes. It was like, go out there and perform. And then it was like,
say it.
So everything I've been doing all of a sudden means nothing because if right now I need a break, that doesn't matter to you.
Right.
So that I think kind of ticked off the burnout for me, because I felt insulted that I was having to like hear people tell me basically none of that shit matters because right now you need to turn on your camera. And it's like, so then when do I get to grieve?
Yeah.
Like I'm Black too. Did you forget? Like, do you see me as the creator first and then the Black person? Like I'm confused.
Right.
So I was experiencing like a lot of that. And then it kind of turned into, do I even want to be a creator anymore? Like, do I even like this job anymore? Like it just became like a domino effect. And then I just like stopped uploading. And then that was when I realized, I think I'm experiencing burnout. Like, and then that's when it kind of got like 6 months later, it was like, yeah, I can't do this right now. And then I just switched to TikTok.
Yes.
And I was like, I like TikTok.
Okay.
TikTok is more fun. This is different, but I want to do something different. I'm I'm gonna pause makeup for now. I'm gonna do something.
Speak on it now.
I'm gonna write love letters to Black people. Like I want Black people to see more of what it looks like to feel good and be taken care of. And I kind of feel like I never really got to do that with my beauty platform because it was like just this all you saw. So it was like I was just looking pretty.
Okay.
But outside of that, I wasn't really showing people like, how do I take care of myself?
Yeah.
What do I look like in the morning when I wake up?
How soft life.
Yeah, like, and it wasn't. I didn't want to do anything that wasn't natural and authentic to me. I just wanted to do. I just want to try something new.
Right.
So then, I did it, and people really gravitated towards it.
We loved the lifestyle content. We were like, yeah.
I was shocked. I was
steam
like,
your sheets.
It was
give us a laundry day.
it was definitely very different for me. So I was like, ooh, I don't know. They may hate this. They may love it. I have no clue. We'll see.
And people loved it.
Do you feel like when like the people loving it, right? So and this is some like advice I want you to give to me personally, hopefully somebody else in general can understand. But both of you guys, when you think about the people and you needed to redirect, you were finding a source of inspiration that was changing. You know, like some kind of source energy or some kind of light came to you. It could have come through burnout, which could have been a sign, you know, because sometimes we are stopped. We don't just stop.
Yeah.
But what do you feel like? How do you know that, okay, I'm moving into a space that I feel this. I think this is going to be a great transition. You transition into home beautifully. You go into fragrance. Both of you guys have beautiful fragrances right now. And I love the shared experience of like two sisters talking about their fragrances. Because guess what? If you're Aaron Lauder and Victoria Beckham, it would be nothing but cross support. You know, sometimes we always have been put up against each other. So I just love to see Black women together in general.
Cheers.
But my question is like, how do you change the scene and your audience is expecting you to show up in one way? Your agent wants you to show up in one way, your manager, and you have to say, hey, guess what? Actually, this is how you met me, but there's a vision I have for myself and for you guys that I'm going to take you on a journey. What does that look like? How do you turn the ship as a creative or as a celebrity or whatever that looks like?
That's actually a really good question. Do you have input on that? I know the answer to that.
And I especially want to know for you, like your agents and your managers, like you were, I can only imagine making a lot of money from brand deals. I mean, the whole business model was predicated on you talking about beauty products.
Yeah.
So for you to say, I want to do something totally different, it must have been a lot of pressure from your audience, from your management team, from your agent.
And you set the tone for the way those creators were making money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess a lot of us at that started when I did do exactly that. You know what? The thing is this internal dialogue that I was having with myself, I wasn't having this with like my team. I mean, my bad, y'all, probably. And then also I went through a transition. So the team that I'm with now was a different team then. And I just did it because I was like, you know what? When I started my YouTube channel, I just did it. I consulted with technically, I can't take full credit. My best friend was one who told me to start YouTube, and I had no interest in starting YouTube. Shout out to her. But with Instagram and like TikTok, like I just did it.
Right.
I was literally just thinking, people are just trust your gut. People have followed you this long. They're going to keep following you. Just do it. Just do it. Don't ask. Just do it. If anything, like I feel like the more you ask for advice, it kind of like gets in your head and it's like, nah, maybe not do that. Just try it. Even if you don't know or if you're uncertain, I feel like it makes more sense to just try new things. But also like have a plan. So like whatever that looks like, if it's not something you don't see yourself doing for 6 months, then just don't.
Right.
Then just don't do it. But I just did it. And you know what? I didn't cold turkey quit makeup. Like it was kind of,
it was still there.
It was gradual. It was like an undertone. I think I just switched the order. So it's like, instead of lifestyle stuff being in the background of the makeup content, I switched it and made makeup in the background. Because by that point, I feel like I built the foundation. It's like, it's been like over a decade, y'all. Like, there's only so much I can teach at this point.
Right. Go back to my old videos if you want.
It's not even just about that. It's just like, I want to do something new. Like, I'm not just beauty. Like,
come on now.
Yes, I'm a lot of that. But like, I like other things too. You know what I mean? So honestly, people could have hated it and they would have had that right. But I was putting my faith on the line and just being like, let's just try it. Like, I would be amiss to just not allow myself to try something new instead of getting stuck in, but this is comfortable. And then also I was doing that in the middle of the pandemic.
Right.
But I kind of feel like, which was scarier, but I feel like, well, if it flops, then
you always have.
I mean, I always have my fallback, but right now is the perfect time to potentially open myself up to a new audience, because that was when like all this new talent was birthed, 2020, 2021. It was like these new influencers popped up out of nowhere.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that's the perfect opportunity for me to try to reintroduce myself on a different platform in a completely different way.
Yes.
And I'm so glad I did.
And so my second part of that is, so when you think about it, because you've had a whole different life about a year and a half ago.
Working in tech. I mean, very different.
You know? Yeah. And so when you think about the transition, right? So that's part A of it. Then you have to, you know, galvanize the support of teams, right? Sometimes it can be your agents, sometimes the managers, the people who need to sell that idea for licensing deals, to create space, more space in that space for you.
Yeah.
What does that talk like? Just fall in line, get down, lay down? Or is it more or less like, is it a whisper? Do you think that you get the audience's support first? What was that about?
Might be both.
Yeah.
I think it could be both. For me, I think it was the latter. It was like the audience is already there, guys. Like,
yes, come on now, sis.
We're pivoting.
That's what we're doing.
The girls are speaking. You see the views, you see the comments, you see the engagement. And I think for me, I just really had to like see, are people actually, no, this wasn't an if. I knew this at the time. I had realized that people were not just following me for what I'm doing. They're following me for me. So let's lean into that a little bit more. Like, they don't
Speak
just,
on it.
You know what I mean?
Like, say that again.
Underestimate. They're following you for you.
Yes,
and
baby.
I had to lean into that and like honor that. And I was in a really unique position to do that. Some creators are not, because I don't think they put enough of themselves out there to allow people to do that. And that's totally fine. It's not a bad thing. But once I realized, like, honestly, people are going to watch regardless. I'm never going to take that for granted. It doesn't mean I'm going to give them piss poor and like subpar, but let's have fun with it. Let's see what people are receptive to, you know?
I love how you've romanticized aspects of Black girlhood. Some, like your braiding videos specifically, like just showing like the slow motion, like laying out of the hair. I had never seen content like that of a braid day, you know, like with the classical music in the background and like you're having your tea. Like, was that a conscious decision you made? Like, I want to show what it's like as a Black woman to have a hair day for us in a way that's romanticized and also part of the soft life.
Wow.
I think so. Yeah. At first, it was not something I thought of as revolutionary. It was like, well, this is what I'm doing. So like, let's bring the same quality that I do with all my other content and make it cinematic. I was literally just having fun with it. Like, I wasn't trying to I wasn't consciously trying to romanticize it, I don't think, but that was kind of like the result of it. And then the way that people responded to it, kind of like how you are, I was like, oh, I guess it kind of is like not painstaking when you're, you know what I mean? Because, you know, wash day is like, wash day. It's wash day. But then I thought about it and I was like, but like, think of how sad that kind of is that I get to wash my hair.
Right.
Because you know what? We all love what we don't have. So, or we all think we want what we don't have. So like, imagine not having hair.
Right.
Like how bummed you would be to not be able to do wash day anymore. Right. Like, so I just tried to reframe the conversation, especially on the internet. There's some stuff that I'm like, y'all, could you, everything don't need to be said online. Like, there's things that are like supposed to be kitchen table talk that people just turn on these apps and just, I'm like, why would you, this is going to reach a non-Black audience. Why are we talking about this?
What's an example? What's an example of that?
Okay, for me, it's hair. So
in front of company, keep it cute.
Okay, but what about hair? What about hair? I'm curious.
So, you know, we're both Leos, so we speak the same language.
Right.
August 3rd, August 4th.
Literally a day apart from each other. Once you tell somebody what you dislike about yourself, they ain't never gonna let you forget it. Stop talking about how much you don't like your hair on these platforms.
Yes.
My 4C hair could never. That's your superpower, babe.
Right.
Stop saying that on these non-Black people's, like, just stop saying that.
Right.
I understand everybody has a very different, sometimes
that.
traumatizing relationship with their hair. I get it. I've been there. But one thing about, if there was a group of people talking about how much they didn't like their hair, I'm so sorry, I cannot relate. I did not hear nothing. I did not see nothing. I'm not doing that. I don't downplay the way that my hair looks. I don't downplay my texture. I don't downplay nothing. You will never.
Come on, baby. I got chills.
You will never hear me ever. Because like once you do that, and I'm not saying that one is the cause of the other. Like people are going to disrespect Black women, Black hair, regardless of whether you contribute or not. That's unfortunately the reality. But I'm not going to give you ammo.
Nah.
Oh, no, honey.
Nah. I didn't tell you where I live.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you where I live. Whenever I do my wash day videos, the comments, and you see the content. It's like it's positive, it's cute. It's like,
beautiful. And you have beautiful, healthy hair. You're always celebrating it.
I'm always celebrating. I try to make it like kind of cinematic. Like I try to make it no different to the other hair content you consume on the platform. Maybe a little bit more elevated though.
Yeah. So Jackie's is a little bit better.
Just a little bit. And then I'll get these comments and they'll be like I know they're secretly trying to like flex. It's like from non-Black women. Ooh, that could never be me. I get up every day and it only takes me 5 minutes to style my hair. And I'm like,
oh yeah, I see those.
Wow. I could never, babe. Like I spend the whole, I will take as long as I need to make my hair look like, or someone will say, one comment that I used to get a lot, but then other people started like checking them in the comments. It would be from non-Black women. It takes you that long to make your hair look good?
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, shots fired. Bum, bum, bum.
Wow.
And I'd be like, I know you don't think you're a natural blonde and I can't see that.
Right.
Is that what you say when you go get that balayage, babe?
Right.
And that bleaching tone?
Because they spend all day in the salon.
And that blowout? Because you spend all day in the salon.
Right.
But suddenly you see a Black girl do it and you have so much to say. Girl, clock that. Like, I hate these little like undercover, like backhanded compliments when it comes to Black hair specifically. So I never lean into it because I know what they're trying to do. But I would say those two are like the two top common ones that I get. And I think that they want you to lean into what we typically do with our hair is we complain about it. And we complain loudly about it. And I'm not getting on people who do that, but I'm just saying it's not the type of conversation I want to cultivate on my platform.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
I got a question for both of y'all.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I've seen you in all of your flyness, right? We were in Qatar. Remember we flew back with Ugo Mosey, me, you, Law. We had a good time out there, right? Shout out to Fashion Trust Arabia. But you're always put together. Both of you guys are always put together, right? And sometimes I am too, right? But I know how to let it thug. I know how to thug it out.
You're always put together.
I've never seen you look scrappy, Sir John, ever.
But my question to you guys is, when do you really let it hang out? What does letting it hang out look like for the people at home who see you guys as a beacon of inspiration? Because you guys are super aspirational, like supers in a way, you know? And so I think I love that I'm around so many people who are like the Avengers of glam, the Avengers of these voices of Black women who are to be taken seriously, but also you're dreamlike characters to us, right? I'm keeping it real, I'm keeping it a buck. But when do you let that shit hang out? And what does it look like? I want to know. And I don't want to ask Dennis.
You're going to laugh at me. If I answer this question, it would literally...
Yeah, tell me.
It would have to be a medical emergency.
Oh
my God.
Like you're never going to see me literally looking like what I'm going through ever. But the reason why I say that is because even when I'm not even trying to do something or I'm not even putting in effort, someone else, so you know how the girls are. They love to hype you up. The girls will be like, wow, this is what you look like when you wake up. I'm like, girl, it's just these little Amazon pajamas. So I think to other people, I always look put together, but like my scrappiness I guess like I don't know, Sir John. Like I think because I'm so used to being perceived.
Right. Yes.
So no matter what, like I like to have like a top that matches the bottom.
Yes.
I like to have, like nice stuff to sleep in, nice stuff to run errands in. But and it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. Mm-hmm. But in order for me to look disheveled, it would literally have to be like a medical emergency. Okay. But it doesn't mean I don't have down days. But what I'm saying is like my down days for other people, they're gonna think, like you're still, but I'm like, not really.
That's just me.
I also feel like you have good hacks to like always look put together. You were telling me about the press on nails because my thing is like I always get stressed, like I don't have time to get my nails done. And you were like, yeah, press on, like there are things you can do to look good and put together easily at home.
For sure. Because I feel like the average Black person has to learn how to do things themselves all the time.
Ooh,
so, because like as an artist, right, Sir John, like, do you kind of feel that way?
Unpack that for me. What do you mean?
I feel like when it comes to like our hair, when it comes to like our makeup, like I'm always having to be like, let me go ahead and fix what this.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
and customize and create new.
Mm-hmm. Create new. Exactly.
And that customization and that creation that we're talking about actually leads the culture and of beauty or leads the culture of style, of jewelry. When we take something and a spin, like, in the early 90s, everyone was doing the bob. When we shave off half and then do 3 parts on the side or take Ralph Lauren and make it, what we did in the early 90s, it just, we move the culture. Like everyone wants to look like a Black woman or a Black boy, somewhere. So, but I do have a part B to that question though. So you don't ever let it hang out.
Wait, Brooke didn't answer the question.
Come on, let's go.
It's like at home cooking, like bedtime routine. I am not looking glamorous. I'm really not. But I still feel like you just have this really pretty essence that like, even if you probably have like really cute loungewear and stuff.
She does.
I do. I'll put on my little cashmere robe.
Come on, cashmere.
Yes.
Come on, cashmere.
But I feel like it's nice to invest in loungewear because you don't want to be home with like a ratty t-shirt and like something with a hole in it. It just doesn't make you feel good.
You know what I just discovered?
Yeah.
Tencel.
What's that?
Beautiful material.
Tencel pajamas.
Oh.
It's like a cotton.
I don't know what it is. Yeah. It's blessed by Jesus. I used to be like a silk pajama girl, but silk is expensive.
Yeah.
And child, then it
and you have to steam it. Yeah,
steam it.
Too much.
You sleep in it. You literally will wake up looking like you got into a fight. It's so wrinkly. And then if you're a sweater, you can forget about it because you're gonna be soaked.
Right.
And then I discovered Tencel.
It's a material.
It's a material.
It's like a cotton, is it?
I don't know.
It keeps you cool. It is
great.
Okay.
It feels rich.
Okay.
Ooh, I could see you making a pajama line. I could see you doing pajamas.
Yes.
I was going to do a video about this topic specific, not me starting a line. But I looked into it and I was like, this is expensive. I tried, child. So I shelved that project, but it's not fully off the table.
Right.
But I was doing a video about things around the house that will make you look bougie even if you aren't. And I was talking about investing in some good pajamas, and one of them was Tencel. Haven't filmed it yet, but I'm going to.
It's a good topic.
So before we go back, I know you had a question. I want to know, okay, so you don't really have a way to let it hang out. And I'm loving that this is the summer of Kendrick. You're from LA,
yes.
You're from Cali.
Gosh, yes.
So give me something that is like our undercurrent. Every culture has it of this is the thug Jackie. This thug, and I'll give you examples. So
wait, what do you mean?
This is part of like as glamorous lives as we all or you have, and we've all contributed to. We all have a thug moment. We all have a moment. It was like, okay, I didn't know that she was that kind of girl.
Yeah.
For me, I still drink 40 ounces. I still like malt liquor.
You
Damn.
do?
I love OE. I do. I really do. It's a giggly buzz. It's
I
really
learned
fun.
that about you.
Yeah.
In Qatar. It was like, Sir John is.
Yo, I have after party.
Never, but you don't even like look drunk.
No, but I mean,
like you just be like carrying it well. Like,
remember the after parties every night? I was the after party guy.
Yes, you were the after party. I couldn't keep up. I was like, he got it.
But they were great. Like everyone was there. It was
fun though.
It was fun.
It was fun.
So that's me. I love OE.
For me, it's music. People will be like, "You listen to Sexxy Red?" I'm like, "Of course."
You know what? Actually, that is one of them.
Okay.
So I think because when people follow you, they paint this picture of what they think you are.
Right.
And so sometimes people will be like, "Oh, I love that you're not like Sexy Red." And I'm like, whoa, not too much though.
Yeah, not too much on Sexy
She's
Red.
absolutely on the Spotify playlist. Like, she's one of the girls too.
Exactly.
She's lavishly too. Like, hold on. We're not doing that over here. We're not doing that over here.
Right.
I feel like there's room for every type of
exactly.
That's real talk. I love that.
That's so real.
So maybe it's that, because yeah, if you catch me in an AMG, you might be like, girl, what is you listening to?
Team G63.
you might be a little shocked. Yeah, probably the music that I listen to for sure.
What? And also, is it something that you cook that smells the house where you got to close the doors? Is it old school? Like I still have things that I make because I love to cook where I have to close the doors because it's gonna.
Yeah.
Is there anything?
Well, I ain't cooking, so
you don't cook, babe.
Oh, Sir John.
I thought you cooked down.
Oh, I bake my under eye, but I'm not cooking. I'm not cooking. Nathan, like,
I love it. Mm-mm. All right. Okay. So, shifting gears a little bit. I want to know. I have a question. You guys, I love this dialogue around women and the community of women and supporting women. Like, guys, fellas, I do what I do because of the girls. I'm a girls guy, and
really are.
I always have been. Always have been.
Cute.
I've been like captain of the cheerleaders. But I do know you have to, most of my work has always been nonverbal, so I have everything I do, I have to read the energies. And if you pay attention to women long enough, you guys are speaking 5 languages. It's like watching dolphins do the location thing, because the way you communicate is so intense sometimes, and the way you pick up is so much so soon. But what I have a question about is, what is the state of womanhood today? Do you feel like women are really being sisters to each other, showing up for each other? Do you think there's a space for sisterhood to grow? And if so, where?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, I have a really positive experience in that I have like such a good, solid core group of like women I admire, women that I look up to, that I can confide in, that I really trust, that I can build with, grow with, that I don't have to worry about like hearing them talking smack to someone else. Like, I have like a good, solid group of women like that. And I really do want that for other people who may not have that experience.
Yeah.
What does it take to be one of those women?
Being one. And a lot of people don't like admitting that.
Wow. Okay.
Show up for people. Don't feel like going to your friend's birthday party. I get it. I'm tired. I don't either. I'm there anyway. Don't feel like talking on the phone. You want to do your skincare routine? I totally get it. But like, this girl's really going through something. Let me take a moment and be there for her.
Wow.
Maybe not be talking, smack about somebody, but then having brunch with them the next day.
Ooh.
Right.
Maybe if that person told you not to say something, don't.
Yes. Come on.
Maybe that.
Come on. Make it plain. Make it plain. That's for fellas too.
Well, yeah, that too. But I feel like a lot of like
dudes run their mouths. Dudes run their mouths just like girls.
Can you please actually fellas, tell them?
Stop running your mouths like we ask women not to.
Exactly. Because I feel like there's a lot of propaganda about this being a woman thing. It's most definitely not. If you've ever been around a group of dudes, they be gossiping too. They just messy. But yeah, I feel like so many women are like, I can't trust women. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, but if you are one, then what does that say about you? Like, what are you?
Right.
What are you giving? And I've encountered that whenever I notice a woman has a really hard time making friends, and I'm not talking about people who like live in a small town.
Yeah.
They're like they're limited with who they can interact with. I'm not talking about the exceptions. I'm talking about people who are surrounded by people and they keep running into the same pattern, the same habits. And I notice that most times it's because they're not cultivating the safe space that is required in order to build those friendships. But having good friends takes work.
Yes, it
and
does.
People need to really step it up and start understanding that. And it's supposed to be mutually beneficial.
Wow.
So if one person is pouring more into you and you're not picking up on that, you might want to take a step back and be like, hey, they always show up for me and I'm not reciprocating.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of it too. Like there's been times where I'm like, ooh, I've been dropping the ball. Like I've really got to show up for this person.
Yeah.
Same.
But it takes, I think, being one to get good friendships and keep them.
Yes. We're getting deep. I'm like,
that was deep. I know.
I'm like, this episode's going to have to be like a whole 2-part situation.
Yeah, seriously.
What do you think about that with the women?
I mean, one, I think that highly visible women like you, Jackie, that use their platform to champion other women is everything. Because so many women don't, you know?
Yeah.
You take it for granted. So many women don't use the platform they have. I mean, for me, this show, Naked Beauty, it's like if I can create a space that's meaningful in the culture and have people come on and share their story, then for me, that's like the work that's most important to me. But even just the way you showed love for my fragrance, like
I loved it.
Yes, you know, and you're much more, you know, seasoned in terms of your business, you know, you're like in Sephora, but to show me love and give me feedback, that means everything to me. So I feel like I really commend women like you that have a huge platform and a lot of influence who shine that light on other smaller creators and women. I think that's huge. And a lot of people don't.
You.
So true.
I mean, a lot of people did it for me. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to like put back what you receive. So if you know that there's people pouring into you all the time, but you're not giving that energy back, instead of being like, what do I gain from posting about this girl's product or their business or their perfume or their content or whatever? Don't think like that, because it's stingy. Okay. It's stingy. And you don't grow if you operate from a place of stinginess. Ever.
Amen.
You will literally deplete yourself.
Right.
You're not hurting nobody but yourself. So
that is so real. You share so much of your life online. You know, maybe I shouldn't say so much. You share a lot.
It's like so much, but nothing.
But nothing.
At the same time.
So one of my questions to you is, how do you create boundaries with your community?
So true.
I just try to keep my content relatively, for lack of better words, like I try to keep it very surface level. So if I'm talking about a deep topic, for example, like discrimination or colorism, I may not be speaking from my own experience. I may be talking about a pop culture topic. I may be talking about a trending dialogue that's taking place. So it's not really putting my personal life out. You know what I mean? So I try to find ways to like make the content and the conversations on my platform deep without necessarily centering myself. I don't center myself in all of my content.
Yeah, that's smart.
Because, you know, not too much. Like, I feel like sometimes if you share a little too much, it can kind of, you have to be really careful, especially when it's stuff that you're still like healing from. Because then if you're still healing from it and then someone can use that against you.
Yes.
It can be rough.
I got a question. So unpack that for me just a little bit, because I come from a completely different, I don't want to say generation, but I'm also like so private, right?
Yeah.
So John doesn't share anything.
I don't really.
You'll put a meme on your story and be like,
my stories be crazy. That's more of who I am, I guess.
Right, but you're not showing like you know, people wake up and they post like every second of their lives on stories. That is like so not you.
It's difficult for me.
Yeah.
Because also we live in a world where I didn't usually think about filming some of the stuff that I experience, right?
Yeah.
But how do you strike a balance with showing them who you are? Because like, you know, because there's because you're hearing all these voices all the time, right? Everyone has an idea of how you should show up in these spaces.
Yeah.
But like, how do you actually be like, okay, I'm never going to talk about, first of all, you'll never know who I'm dating. Me.
Period.
Never.
Period.
Never know. None of y'all.
Then y'all know right now.
But, or any of that kind of stuff. But I do love, you know, what my interests are, what I like to do, like, you know, the things that make me tick. It's how do you know when enough is enough?
I think you kind of like alluded to that. Like you and me are basically saying the same thing. Okay. Like the stuff that you share is relatively pretty surface level. So it's not stuff that can be used against you.
I see.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't use my favorite color against me. Like, you can't use the fact that I like shopping at Hermes against me. Like, what can you do with that? Right. That's nothing. You know what I mean? Yeah. But if my sister says something that annoyed me, you're not gonna know.
Right.
How would you know?
Come on now. Come on.
And also I learned that when it comes to being a creator, if you give an ounce, the way they will rewrite a whole movie with that ounce about you. So you know what? I learned, I'd rather say nothing. I'd rather you make stuff up. I'd rather you make stuff up from thin air, because then I can sleep at night knowing at least I didn't give them something to start with.
Right.
That's so Beyonce of you.
I'm okay with that. I'm taking notes. Because I've learned,
Yeah. Okay, Sir John.
Yes.
we were really getting deep and getting into so much that I was like, we actually need to have this be a 2-part interview. So we're going to pause here.
This is the first time I've done, I've ever seen a 2-part situation.
There has never been a 2-part Naked Beauty. This is a Naked Beauty first.
Yes.
We have never had such a good conversation that got into so much detail that we had to break it up into 2 episodes.
Yes.
But we needed it for Jackie.
It was so good. And also it was such a diverse, robust dialogue that you can't just sum it up into, we went east side, west side, high and low. And so I think if we are really thinking about our people, we need to break it up into 2 parts.
Yes. So thank you all so much for listening. Make sure that you're subscribed so you get the whole second half of this conversation.
Oh yeah.
And really get into some real like beauty education.
True.
That I didn't even know how badly I needed it.
Yeah. I mean, I learned something too, guys. Been in this business for a long time, but I think we should all stay students, stay a white belt. And so like we had this cool back and forth. We learned a lot. You guys, I got schooled so much on so many things. I don't want to give away too much, but I'm leaving this. It actually made my day. It kind of changed the way I look at the week even.
Yes, amazing.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so stay tuned.